happening here? What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man
Don't be
with
fooled
a
by this
gun.
legislation. Gun control is all about people control. And it goes all the way back to corn. Corn has been put in this population for a reason. An ear of corn isn't going to hurt you, but 1,000 products with corn will. Corn destroys niacin. Lack of niacin causes depression. If misdiagnosed depression is fed psychoactive drugs, and Obamacare health records show that you've had a mental disorder that's been treated with psychoactive drugs, your likelihood of owning a weapon as an adult is very slim. Gun control and healthcare control is all about records control. And as Catherine Austin Fitts said,
in the backdrop, there's a third agenda, which to me is the most important agenda in the mix on healthcare reform. And that agenda is the desire to have much greater control. Okay? Now, you can say it's the government, but in fact, if you look at who really controls and operates and runs the government, it's not the government. It's very powerful private interests behind the government. You know, some people call it the shadow government, but you know, there are groups behind that. And if you look at the provisions that have been discussed for controlling doctors, dictating to doctors what their policies will be, requiring disclosure to the government of all sorts of confidential private information about people and their health, you're looking at one of the most effective tools to implement fascism that I've ever seen. Now, let's go back. If you and I were to walk into Washington and say, oh, we have these 21 agencies, we have the Department of Housing and Urban Development, we have the Department of HHS, Health and Human Services, we have the military, we have all these different agencies. You would see lots of different agencies. That's not what I see. What I see is 3 defense contractors who control and operate the databases and the IT systems for all 21. So I don't see 21 agencies. I see Lockheed Martin. Okay, I see DynCorp. I see, and they have the data. They have this data and this data and this data and this data and this data. Okay, now let me step back in time. Edwin Black wrote a magnificent book on the Holocaust about IBM helping the Nazis build the database operation they needed to implement the Holocaust. Okay, now, who's just been chosen as one of the lead contractors on our census? IBM, okay? And Lockheed Martin, I believe. So if you look at all the databases they have from around the country already, and you combine those databases with the data that could come from the healthcare bill on everybody's personal health information and their accurate address, what have you got? You've got the basis, you have the equivalent in 2010 of what the Nazis had to do the Holocaust. God forbid you should combine that with a national ID card.
maybe now you can see the real agenda here. It's not about clips, it's not about AK-47s, it's not about AR-15s. It's about controlling all the records so that at some time in the future, all your rights are taken away and the Second Amendment is taken down. This is the last great nation that owns guns. This is the last great nation that can protect itself from its government with guns, and that's the only reason we still have some freedom left. This law needs to be struck down. These senators need to be voted out. We need to change the regime in this country, and it's going to happen soon. The Republic is coming back, and we're going to hope to God that it happens within our lifetimes.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun.